Why does life make sense only in hindsight? Why do the things we once feared or obsessed over seem trivial years later? You see, time changes the way we see everything. The moments that felt impossible to move past eventually become lessons, and the struggles that once consumed us turn into memories that no longer hold the same weight. Time is the only teacher that never stops teaching. It doesn't ask for permission, and it doesn't give shortcuts. It forces us to grow, even when we resist. It changes our perspectives, deepens our wisdom, and reveals truths about love, loss, and life itself. Truths that no book, mentor, or advice can fully prepare us for. In this video, we're going to break down why time is not only our greatest teacher, but why it is so powerful. We'll explore how it shifts our understanding, why it teaches lessons in ways nothing else can, and how it shapes the way we see ourselves in the world. Whether you realize it or not, time is always teaching. The question is, are you paying attention? And if you like videos about wisdom like this, don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos. Now, whether you know it or not, time changes our perspectives, and that is actually our first point. Time has a way of shifting our perspective, often in ways we never expected. What once felt overwhelming or unbearable eventually becomes just another chapter in our story. But why does this happen? Science tells us that our brains don't hold onto emotions with the same intensity forever. A phenomenon called emotional blunting causes the feelings tied to our memories to fade, allowing us to look back with more clarity and less emotional weight. This is why time makes past struggles seem less significant. It dulls the sharp edges of our pain and helps us see things for what they really were. Beyond that, we're constantly evolving. The way we saw the world at 16 is nothing like how we see it at 26 or 56. Our values, priorities, and understanding of life change with every experience. The things we once obsessed over lose their grip as bigger, more meaningful experiences take their place. Time forces us to grow, and with growth comes a new way of seeing the past. Think about the things that once consumed you. Maybe it was a breakup in high school or failing a test. At the time, it felt like the end of the world. But now, it's a memory that might even make you laugh. Time puts things into perspective because it introduces us to new challenges, bigger, more complex struggles that make the old ones seem small. What once felt like an unbearable loss turns into something we barely think about. Time also changes how we see people. When we're younger, we take things personally. A friend's betrayal, a harsh comment, or someone walking out of our lives feels like a personal attack. But as we get older, we start to understand that people act based on their own struggles, insecurities, and fears. The friend who hurt you may not have been cruel. They may have been dealing with their own pain. The boss who was hard on you may have been struggling with pressures you never saw. Time allows us to step outside of our own emotions and see situations from a broader perspective. It turns anger into understanding, bitterness into acceptance, and regret into wisdom. Time doesn't just change our perspective, it deepens our wisdom. The lessons we learn aren't just about seeing things differently. They're about understanding life on a deeper level. Wisdom isn't something we gain overnight. It's the result of time, experience, reflection, and it is actually our next topic. Wisdom isn't something we're born with. It's something we earn. Time gives us the one thing no book, mentor, or lesson can provide: experience. We can read about love, heartbreak, failure, and success, but until we actually live through them, we don't truly understand them. Knowledge is what we gain from others. Wisdom is what we gain from time. One of the biggest reasons wisdom comes with time is that time forces us to reflect. When we look back on past mistakes, we start to recognize patterns. We see where we rushed when we should have been patient, where we reacted when we should have waited, and where we ignored the lessons life was trying to teach us. Without time, we wouldn't have the space to process these experiences. And without reflection, experiences would just be moments. They wouldn't turn into wisdom. One of the most valuable lessons time teaches is patience. When we're young, we want everything now. We rush into decisions, chase immediate results, and panic when things don't go our way. But over time, we start to see how patience pays off. Think about investing. Someone who buys stocks and panics at the first dip might sell at a loss, only to realize years later that those who stayed patient made incredible gains. This pattern exists everywhere in life. Rushed decisions often lead to regret. The things we think we need immediately usually aren't as urgent as they seem. Time shows us that waiting often brings better results than reacting. Another thing time teaches is perspective. When we have fewer experiences, we judge events as isolated moments. A job rejection feels like a dead end. A breakup feels like the worst thing that could happen. But as time passes, we gain more data points in life. We start to see the bigger picture. Maybe that job rejection wasn't a failure. It was a redirection towards something better. Maybe that heartbreak was necessary for us to grow into the person we needed to be. With time, we stop reacting emotionally to every setback. We start to trust that things happen for a reason, even when we don't see it immediately. Now, time doesn't just change our perspectives or deepen our wisdom. It also teaches us about love and loss, which is our third topic. These two experiences shape our lives in ways nothing else can, and only through time do we truly understand what they mean. Love isn't just an emotion, it's something that evolves. When we're young, love feels like passion, excitement, and intense emotions. But as time passes, we realize that real love is about commitment, patience, and shared experiences. It's not just about feeling good, it's about standing by someone through life's challenges. Time reveals the difference between infatuation and deep connection. Many relationships that burn hot in the beginning fade quickly because they were built on attraction, not foundation. But the love that stands the test of time, that's the kind of love that lasts. Ask any elderly couple who has spent decades together, and they'll tell you the love they have now isn't the same as when they were young. The passion of youth was exciting, but the bond they share now is something far deeper. It's built on years of laughter, struggles, forgiveness, and understanding. Time strips away the surface-level excitement and replaces it with something real. It teaches us that love isn't just about finding the perfect person, it's about growing with someone through every season of life. Just as time teaches us about love, it also teaches us about loss. Nothing forces us to understand the value of the present moment, losing something or someone we thought would always be there. Grief is one of life's hardest teachers, but it's also one of the most powerful. In the beginning, loss feels unbearable. It consumes us, but as time passes, the pain doesn't disappear. It changes. We start to realize that what mattered most weren't the big, grand moments, but the small, everyday ones. The laughter at the dinner table, the inside jokes, the ordinary conversations we once took for granted. Time doesn't erase grief, but it helps us carry it differently. It teaches us to let go, not in the sense of forgetting, but in learning to move forward. At some point, we look back at a heartbreak that once felt like it would destroy us and realize that it made us stronger. The people we lost, they live on in the lessons they left behind. Time teaches us that loss isn't just an ending. It's a reminder to cherish what we have while we have it. And with time, it teaches us one of the most unavoidable truths of life: nothing stays the same. This can be comforting during hard times and bittersweet during the good ones. It reminds us that pain isn't permanent, but neither is joy. Everything is always moving, always changing, and that's why the present moment is so important. When we struggle, it's easy to believe things will always be this way. Heartbreak, failure, disappointment, these emotions feel endless in the moment, but time proves otherwise. Just like the seasons change, so do our circumstances. The entrepreneur who once struggled to pay rent in their 20s is thriving in their 40s. The person who thought they'd never heal from a painful breakup finds themselves years later in a relationship that's far better than they imagined. Time moves us forward whether we're ready or not, and with that movement comes growth. But the same rule applies to happiness. The moments of joy we experience, laughter with friends, success at work, the love we feel in a particular stage of life, none of it is permanent. That's not meant to be depressing. It's meant to remind us to be present, to appreciate what we have while we have it. Because just as bad times don't last, neither do the good ones. The phrase "this too shall pass" applies to everything. Think about the person who lost everything in a financial crisis, only to rebuild their life in a way they never expected. Or the person who once had it all and later found themselves starting over. Life is constantly shifting. Once we accept that, we stop fearing change. Instead of clinging to the past or dreading the future, we learn to embrace the moment. Because at the end of the day, time's greatest lesson is that nothing is permanent, except the fact that everything keeps moving. The most powerful lessons in life aren't learned in classrooms or textbooks. They're learned in the quiet moments of reflection, in the scars we carry, and in the experiences that shape us. Time is our greatest teacher because it offers us a perspective that no one else can give. It teaches us about love, loss, growth, and the impermanence of everything around us. The big takeaway here is simple. Don't fear time, embrace it. Every moment, whether filled with joy or sorrow, is teaching you something valuable. Those moments of pain will eventually reveal a lesson you didn't see before. The moments of happiness, they'll remind you to appreciate the now, because nothing stays the same. So, what's one thing time has taught you that you didn't understand before? I'd love to hear your thoughts, so drop a comment and share your story. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos.